for this, so I'll have it as well. If you guys want to record on your own, you can. Um, I'll open it up for the first question for Chase. Chase, you've been running a lot of dirt stuff here lately. You ran the Bristol Dirt Nationals last weekend in super late model. First of all, how'd you like the track? And then just what are your overall thoughts about the dirt race here at Bristol?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. The track, I really thought the track was great. It looks really cool. I feel bad for who has to clean it up, but other than that, it is a great, I feel like they did a great job with it. The track surface is really nice. And honestly, it was all really positive in my opinion. And I think it's setting up for a really cool race this weekend. There's a lot of excitement around it, which is good. But I honestly think it's going to be a good show. Like, I think these cars are going to put on a good race. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
All right. Our first question is from Heather Williams with WCYB. Go ahead, Heather.
Hey, Chase. I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, you started to dabble and play in dirt more here recently, but when you first heard that NASCAR was going to run a dirt race, did you think it was crazy? Did you worry about the way the cars would get around? What was kind of your initial thought?
No, I mean, I didn't think it was crazy by any means. I mean, obviously, to me, the craziest part about the whole thing is just the logistics of the track, right? Like, there's a race here in just a handful of months that is not dirt. So pretty impressive, honestly, just the logistics of how quickly they got this done and how it's going to transform back. So, to me, I don't think there's anything crazy about it from a driving standpoint. We've seen a truck race be put on at Eldora for the past few years, and it has been a good show and been successful. So I don't see why it'd be any different here. But to me, the better question is just logistics of it all and just how they made it work and how they're going to transform it back. And then if they're going to continue this down the road.
All right. Our next question will come from Kenny Hawkins at WJHL. Go ahead, Kenny.
Chase, how you doing? How important will practice in these heat races be for you guys to adapt, to get used to the track surface before Sunday?
Well, I think it'll be extremely important. And obviously the weather and the rain is going to have an impact on that too. Throughout the weekend, we're going to get some rain. How much of the weekend is going to be as scheduled. And that could cut into how much time you have on track before the event. So I think specifically these practices today are going to be really important to learn what you can, because it might be the last time you get on track before you start the race.
All right. Our next question is Jeff Birchfield of the Johnson City Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Chase, a couple things. How tough is it to transfer back and forth from like a dirt late model to a cup car? And then the second part of that, you were involved in a pretty hard wreck last week. Were you sore at all after that?
No, I really didn't hit that hard last week, fortunately. But it's been fun. I enjoy the challenge. I mean, the cars are very different. I don't think there's a lot that translates from a driving perspective. In the cars, like, they just kind of have different tendencies, but it is still a race car. You're still turning left and still trying to go fast. And obviously the track is the same. So I thought it was worth the time to come up here. I wish I could have run Saturday, but I tore up our car Friday night and couldn't. So.
All right. Our next question comes from Brad Gilley at PRN. Go ahead, Brad.
Chase, already kind of having run some laps on the track, how did it change? I mean, how do you think over 250 laps the track's going to evolve, and how's that going to impact tire wear and all of those things?
I think that's the biggest question mark that we all have, because the track can't be, number one, it's during the day, right? 250 laps is a long time, so there's really no way to keep moisture in the track, and even if you could, that wouldn't work because we have windshields and we can't pull tear-offs. So you're put into a box immediately because you can't pull a tear-off to have a track that is tacky. I mean, we just can't have that. So the track already, because of these cars and the way they are, has got to be pretty dry, in my opinion, to make it work. We saw that at Eldora. So to me, the big question in my mind is, does the track ever take rubber? And if that happens, that's going to be where the race really changes its look. The tire wear, I think, would significantly change. I've never been a part of a dirt race where the track took rubber, but I watched one happen at the Chili Bowl this past January, which was really interesting. And the dirt guys that do this stuff a lot are going to probably see that coming before the rest of us, maybe. So that to me is the biggest question. Does the track ever take rubber? And, I don't think anybody really fully knows how it's going to transition throughout the day, though. But I do feel like it's going to have to be pretty dry, and it's going to blacken up quick for sure.
Next question comes from Alan Gregory of the Bristol Herald Courier. Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, do you think this is good for the sport to get a new breed of fan? And would you like to see more dirt races?
I think it's great for the sport, honestly. And just from a driver's perspective, like, I'm excited about this weekend. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like there's been more excitement in general around the weekend than there would have been if this was the normal Bristol spring race, to be completely honest. I just think there's been a lot more hype around it. I feel like the guys in the shop have been really excited and really working hard at it. And I don't know, just a little, it's just, there's an added level of excitement for everybody. The unknown, I think, probably more than anything. And like anything else, that goes away, over time. I think the unknown is probably the most intriguing thing about the weekend for everyone, whether you're a fan, a driver, or, a crew member. I think that's probably what excites us the most. But I think that's really cool. But yeah, enjoy it, because, if you keep doing this stuff year after year, that will go away. And then, two, we may not do this again. So I think it's important to enjoy it. And I think the fans are going to enjoy it. And I think it's going to be a good show, honestly. And I look forward to seeing how it turns out.
Next question is with Jeff Birchfield at the Johnson City Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Chase, how would you evaluate the first part of your season, and where do you feel like maybe you guys are really good right now? Where do you feel like you need to work on?
Yeah, we just haven't had great results throughout the first handful of races or whatever. I feel like there's been weeks where we've had some decent pace, other weeks where we haven't, for sure. But there's been races where I feel like our car has been okay. We've just had super eventful races, like, whether it's me making mistakes, putting us in bad positions, damage, or, breaking the motor, or just whatever it's been. I just feel like every week's been super eventful so far. I feel like our cars have been strong. Our teammates have been running great, which is awesome. I feel like Hendrick Motorsports as a whole has been really fast. We just haven't been putting good results together. So I think the pace in our organization is a high spot. I think that's a good thing. To me, the not so good side has just been how eventful our weekends have been, and we just haven't been able to put together a smooth race thus far. So hopefully we can do that this weekend.
A reminder to media, if you have a question for Chase, click the raise your hand button. Chase, do you feel like the drivers that have the dirt experience, like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, some of those guys that have raced a lot, do you think they have an advantage this weekend?
Yeah, I do, for sure. I mean, those guys, are very well in tune with dirt racing. They do it all year, been doing it for years, right? That was the road that they took to get here. So of course, I think that experience has to be helpful. But on the same token, I don't think it's out of reach for a asphalt guy to go and compete with them. But I definitely think they're going to be good. And I think their experience is definitely going to help them as the track changes and as things, as the day kind of goes along and, like I said, the track goes through changes and whatnot. I think they are definitely going to be going to be on all that a little more than the asphalt guy, because most asphalt guys aren't used to seeing that transition happen as much. So yeah, I think they'll have an advantage, but I definitely think you'll have some asphalt guys that'll pick it up quick.
Our next question comes from Kenny Hawkins of WJHL.
Chase, do we know, does the track have to be a little wet or does it need to be dry? I mean, if we do get rain, I mean, when would you guys be able to go out? I mean, there's a lot of unknowns for us in the media as well.
Yeah, man, I'm as in the dark as you are. So I have no idea. I don't know. That's not my call. I don't know how the track is draining. Like, if it pours tomorrow and Sunday and there's a lake in there, I'd say it's safe to say it's going to be a while, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a good answer for you, but last week when I was here, it had rained Thursday night pretty hard before the late model race I ran. And it didn't seem to be a problem by the time we went out for hot laps on Friday, I guess that was. So, yeah, we'll just see how much rain they get and kind of go from there. But I know that the group that they have assembled, from what I understand, is of track prep guys have a lot of experience with it. So, that they're way more on top of that than me, and they understand kind of what they're doing and what they need to have a surface that's ready to go.
Our next question comes from Heather Williams at WCYB. Go ahead, Heather.
So Chase, how do you approach this race? Do you approach it like an asphalt race? Because a lot of people that I talked to said that the track's going to rubber up and it's going to be slick. Or do you approach it like a dirt race? I asked this question because when I asked people at the Roval, some of them approach it like a road course, some of it like an oval. So I'm curious how you.
I don't really approach any race any differently than any other. It's just a race to me. So my approach is honestly no different. My prep has been no different. My mindset right now is no different, other than just try to go as fast as I can and, make good decisions and get the best result possible.
And we have Bob Pockris that just joined us. Bob, do you have a closing question for Chase?
And if you answer this already, I'm sorry, but I'm curious, just without a pit crew, how weird is it going? Is that going to be weird at all? And also, do you have any idea if this car is like just a kind of old car that you guys felt like wasn't a great car and said, okay, this will be our dirt car, or if you built something specific?
Yeah, those are great questions. One, about the pit crew side, I haven't really even thought about how it feels to not have that element of the race. I've been just so tuned in to just the driving side, but yeah, that's definitely going to be different. Talking about that now, it's going to be just a different dynamic from what we're used to seeing on the Cup side. Now, I do have experience with that, racing short tracks and asphalt late models, your hot dog brake type cautions, putting on tires. That's a pretty standard thing in that world. So not super weird to me, but to see it on this stage, I think will be odd from your viewers, maybe a little bit, but I honestly don't think it's going to have a negative effect on the race. I personally think the race is going to be entertaining, and I don't think that not having live pit stops is going to take away from that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I was just curious about your car, if you had any idea if you guys built a car specific for this race, or took a car you didn't like for another track and just said, okay, this is our dirt car.
Yeah, I mean, you always pick and choose. I mean, there's certainly factors that went into the decision making of what car Alan wanted to bring. I mean, honestly, there are no junky cars sitting around HMS, so it's not like we pulled one out of the back and uncovered it and knocked the cobwebs off. I mean, they're all super nice. So just the big thing, I guess, is just trying to understand what you need from a setup perspective and what car is going to give you the most adjustability with all that. I think there's going to be a really big, like, there's just a lot of choices that you can make from a setup side. And I think there are people who are going to be on literally one end of it and some people on the other end. And we wouldn't normally see that in an asphalt race, right? Everybody would be kind of know what they need and be pretty close. But I think it's going to be super interesting and fun to just see, knowing how different some of us are, just seeing how it plays out. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Chase. So we appreciate your time this afternoon, and good luck this weekend.
Cool. Thanks.
And to the media, I will shoot you guys this video in just a few minutes. Thank you all for joining us.